What's poppin', people? It's Dante, hopping off the bus, entering the Garden of Eden. Check it out, the Centennial Arboretum. This historic park is the heart of Fairmount Park here in Philadelphia, and is a very special place to disconnect from what I like to call Babylon. You know, like the modern city is just like an amusing place to witness and to sort of kind of be an outsider on the inside. You know, when you're a photographer who's moving through the city streets and you're observing life intensely, you feel a part of the city, but at the same time disconnected from it all in a very beautiful way. I find it's actually kind of profound, where I feel like I'm at home here in Philadelphia. I feel like I have my roots here. Obviously, I'm born and raised here. I live here. I work here. I play here, right? I make my work here as an artist. However, I don't necessarily have any attachments to the location. Like, I don't have any like belief in you know, this place being this like paradise. I think ultimately it's up to the individual to create the paradise within the city. It's like cities generally, I think, are where humans are meant to thrive. But when the city is striving to create a system of control and complacency amongst the population, this is where it goes to die. You know, like it's almost like the way in which we advance in a city is through systems of bureaucracy saying this is how you must live and this is what you must do in order to survive. And I think in order to thrive, the individual within this system of control, Babylon, the city, has to, you know, carve their own path and kind of sit back as the Tower of Babel falls. And as we climb higher and higher and raise our debt ceiling, it's obvious that you're going to start to see and feel the effect on a very localized level. You know, as the United States kind of like raises the debt ceiling, prints more money out, blah blah. Here in Philadelphia, we had a strike that lasted 2 weeks, and the trash wasn't picked up for a very long time, and the city stunk like shit. And the reason is the money in the system is currently broken. But in order to create paradise, in order to thrive and actually build something better than Babylon, I find that it requires almost like a spiritual awakening in an individual, where the individual within the system has to awaken to the illusion of freedom, the illusion of security, from all of the different things that are in place, like the salary, the wage, you know, the benefits you get, you know, like all of these kind of things are, I believe, systems of control and not necessarily something that promotes freedom. And so what you have at scale when people protest and strike and almost kind of like nag at the noose that's hanging around their neck, it's like asking the captor, please, like, make the neck or make the rope a little bit softer, you know, give me a little bit more increase in my wage, and inevitably succumb to being a slave. But in order to break free, you have to misbehave. You have to take the noose off your neck. You have to exit the system and create the new one. And so Bitcoin is the solution to the modern economic problem that's facing us here in Philadelphia, across all of America. And if everybody who strikes, if everybody who is within this system of control decides tomorrow to exit the system and put their money into a technology that provides freedom, Bitcoin, the system would collapse, people could rise and thrive. And so it's kind of wild when you consider the worldview needed to adopt this technology, because it's a paradigm shift. It has nothing to do with getting rich, but it has everything to do with becoming richer of spirit, and that spiritedness that carries the individual to then exit the system and strive for freedom, going from survival to thrival, will inevitably kind of stand out and be viewed as crazy. But actually, I believe repeating the same thing over and over again and asking the same thing over and over again is insanity. And if we consistently depend on old technology, of old systems, of bureaucracies, this to me is insanity. I think 99% are crazy. And then the 1%, the bold, the spirited, the courageous that exit early, they're going to be viewed as the crazy ones. But really, it's normalcy to feel this way. And I find that to be an amusing way to frame adopting Bitcoin in a city, and you feel like you're the only one, and maybe it's only just begun.